Morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. Trevor is getting his hair cut, so I'm just waiting in the car. But happy Saturday. So Trevor and I are going on a date, 2 dates in 1 week. But you guys, I've had some long talks with my mom and Trevor. Sorry, I'm in the passenger seat, so normally it's facing that way. I fixed my tripod in here. It's only been like how many years that thing didn't work, and I finally just tightened it and now it works. But I've had a long talk with Trevor and my mom because I haven't been doing the best at all mentally. I've dipped, and I typically do dip around February, March. It's very common. That's usually my trend. Come February, March, I do dip a little bit. Vacations and stuff help. The last few years we've had vacations, so it hasn't been as drastic, you know. But it's just a lot of cold days indoors, which I love. But when it's like day after day after day after day after day, like not getting out, I'm finding myself dipping. And I also, the best way I can describe it is that I have found myself in the perfect storm, where it's the time of year where I typically dip, and we have grieving on top of it. So I've been, I've been really struggling with the death of my dad. Every day feels like it gets harder. It's like every day, it's going to be harder than the next. And it's just, I just did not know that about grieving. I thought it would get better in time, and it hasn't for me yet. So I've been really struggling in that department, and I don't, as much as I share with you guys about that, there's a lot I don't, because I don't want to just come on and cry. Like, I don't. So I've been really struggling with that, and then mixed in with the seasonal dip that happens to me every year. It's like the perfect storm, and I've been just really struggling with, like, it's feeling like I'm getting depressed, and that's no other way to put it, but it feels like I'm getting depressed, and I've been depressed before. And usually seasonally, I will feel like, I like the winter blues or whatever. Like, I do feel that. But this year, it just seems to be heavier. And I know it has to do with losing my dad. And then, we're cooped up inside a lot. And so anyways, I had a long talk with Trevor. I had a long talk with my mom. And my gosh, it just is so good for my soul to just let it out with those two. And I've come up with a game plan on how to really combat this. Like, I know myself so well, and I know what works for me. And so I'm going to put some new things into my routine that might help feel a little bit better. Like, I'm okay. It's just I've dipped. I'm feeling like I'm going down, and it sucks. It does. So one of the things being, I got to get out of the house more. Yes, when it storms and stuff, you're going to be stuck inside, but once it passes, you can leave. And I haven't been leaving my house. I go to my mom's, and that's it. I don't go anywhere else. So last night I went out. I went to bingo with my uncle and my mom, and we had a great time. And originally, I was like, I'm not going to go. But I was like, why not go? Like, it'll be fun. Like, I'm really close with my uncle. Like, he's so funny. Like, I'd love to see him. And so I ended up going, and I had such a good time. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad I went. And mom was there. And yeah, and little things, like I was out of some ingredients for pizza. Oh, I made that pizza dough, the sourdough pizza dough. It was so good. I highly recommend. Next time I do it, I'll go into more depths of how it was, but it was the most tastiest pizza dough I've ever had in my whole life. And my mom said so, and Trevor said so. They're like, oh, it's good. I'm like, are you just saying that? They're like, no, it's really good. So anyways, that was a huge 10 out of 10. but I needed some ingredients for pizza, and I was like, well, I'll just whatever. But I'm like, no, like, you can go to the store. Like, I'm just noticing being like, no, like, I don't want to see people, and just, it's just, I just don't want to, I know what that life is like. I know what it's like to suffer with depression. I know, and it's not, I don't want, like, I'm not saying I'm depressed. I'm dipping, you know, I know where it heads, right? So I was like, no, go to the store. Like, you don't like, so I went to the store, and that was good to get out. So one of the things I'm doing is I'm trying to get out of the house more. Like, I need to really make sure that I'm getting the sunlight. I am getting out and about, weekly dates with Trevor, like, just get out of the house, you know? And like, today, I think I might go to the dollar store because I need to get something for my nephew for his birthday. I want to get like a gift bag to put his gift in. I'll show you what I got him. His birthday party's tomorrow. But I just noticed like I wasn't getting excited for things. Like even my nephew's birthday, I was like, I'm not excited. But I am excited, you know? Like, and I was like, I gotta go get a bag. Like, maybe someone can get it for me. Maybe Trevor. Like, I was starting to do that. Like, Trevor, go get this. Trevor, go get this. When I can do it. And then I'm just home, and I haven't left my house in 8 days, you know? So, I'm going to go to the dollar store and get a bag. And I'm excited to go to his birthday because it's an outing, and I get to see my nephew, all my nephews. I get to have some yummy food and cake and celebrate the little boy that I love so much. And I'm just trying to nip everything in the butt, you know? So that's a little update on how I've been. Yeah, so Trevor's in getting a haircut, and then I think we're going to go for breakfast. I want to take him to that place me and Mom were at the other day, Living Grace Cafe. I want to go there, take him there. And then we're going to go shut the P.O. box down. I only keep the P.O. box open at Christmas time for Christmas cards and stuff. But I don't keep it open all year round. So that's going to be officially shut down today. And then I don't know what we're going to be up to, but yeah. It's weird because already going out yesterday to the grocery store and bingo, and now last night we made a plan to get out this morning and do the haircuts and go out for breakfast. I already feel like we're not still, like we're just like starting to move up. Like it's a perfect storm. Like I said, too many days inside. It's winter. You still have a lot of winter left to go. And also you're at the point where you're seeing everyone else. Their snow's melting. The sun is out. People are going on vacation. Like our winters are long. And I find a lot of people, their winter, you know, they're starting to hit spring come the end of February, March, and we're nowhere near that. Like we will be April, May before we have that sort of weather. So it's like, you know, it's like, you see people get excited for spring, and then you're still like, oh my gosh, like we're having another snowstorm. Like, you have that, and then, you know, it's this whole other layer now with Dad. And oh my gosh, you guys, like I miss him so much. Like I still, every day, I don't believe it. Like, I'm like, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe everything that went on with my dad. I can't believe I went through that. I can't believe I lived those days. I can't believe it. And that's not one bit of exaggeration. Like, I literally, like, I can't even think of that. Like, I can't believe we all went through that. Like, if you would have told me if you would have told me the day before he passed, that's what we were going to be walking into, even though, like, you know, it's always a possibility. If, like, someone literally told me this is what, like, you're going to say goodbye to your dad forever, then you're going to have to go through the grieving process. You're going to have to have his wake and his funeral, and you're going to have to, like, I'd be like, I can't do that. I can't do that. Like, how do you do that? I can't believe we did that. I can't. It's just, I don't know. It's just, it's, I don't like, that's a part of life. Like I was saying that to Trevor the other day. I'm like, I can't believe this is part of being a human being. This is so unnatural and so painful. Like, I cannot believe we have to do this. Like, I cannot believe it. It seems torturous. Like, it doesn't, I can't believe this is part of life. Anyway, that's where I'm at with my grieving. I'm like angry and I'm sad and I don't know. But I just want to let you guys know I'm making some changes. I want to kind of switch up my routine a little bit to help me feel a little bit better. So I'll definitely share along the way. But for right now, the goal is to get out of the house a little bit more. Because as much as I love being home, it is causing the dip, you know? I need to be out. As much as I am introverted, it doesn't mean I need to be like out in a crowd. But I do need to get out and have the sun touch my skin a little bit. And yeah. So anyways, I'll show you our breakfast. Cheers. Looks delicious. Trevor got the same thing. Breakfast was delicious. Trevor's a big fan of that place, so that's good. It was his first time there. Once again, if you're local, it's Living Grace Cafe. Oh, it's so good and affordable, and they're so friendly in there, and I love it. But Trevor and I were talking at breakfast about spring, and I was telling him I was really excited to put in a garden this spring, like an actual like garden, you know? It'll be my first garden besides like my little patio one that I did last summer that I loved doing it so much. But the problem is that we got our driveway paved a few years ago and it's so thick, like the pavement on it. They did a big, I guess, layer, I don't know. But it comes right up to where our hose is, and it's like almost flushed with the hose so that we can't have a hose because it's the pavement's like too high up. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but I'll show it to you in the summer. I can't do it right now. It's covered in snow. But so that's like the first step we have to do is like figure out, well, we're not going to figure out, Trevor's going to get a hold of someone that does that stuff, a plumber or whoever, I don't know who does it, but I mean, we need to get a new outlet for the hose, like a new, because the way it is, like I can't have a hose. So you need a hose when you have a garden. I don't think it would work doing it by hand. I just feel like that would be a lot. And I just, you know, so that's like the first step is like figuring out that situation in the spring. Like that's like the first thing on the list to do in the spring. So that made me excited thinking about that and like doing up a garden. And I was like, Trevor, like I think doing a garden this summer is going to be so therapeutic and so like I know I'm gonna love it. Like I'm gonna be out in that garden all the time. And he was like, yeah, I think that's gonna be good for you. And my dad really loved that I got into that a little bit last year. Like he was always really proud of me. I would show him all the things I was growing, and I know he knew that I wanted to do a garden in the summer. So I know he will be proud, you know, that I actually go through with it and do it. And he always offered to like water it for me, like, cause he knew we were going to Vegas, and he was like, I can go over and water your garden when you guys go. And so anyways, my uncle actually already offered. He's like, because my uncle is so into this stuff, like gardening and flowers, and that's like so him. And he said that when we go to Vegas, that he'll come and water my garden for me. So that's good. So I'm like, oh, I just can't wait to do that. So that's what we talked about a bit at breakfast. And already, like, the worst thing you can do when you're feeling stuck and you're feeling yourself like just not feeling like yourself, the worst thing you can do is to bottle it up because I was doing that for a few weeks. I just wasn't telling anyone how I was feeling, and I was just like hoping it would pass, and it doesn't. So I'm really glad I opened up to Trevor and my mom. That really, really is helpful. And just even opening up to them and telling them about how I was feeling made the light shine a little bit brighter, because it was just so dark. Like, it was just starting to feel so dark, and just telling them how I felt brought light into the room. And they're both helping me. Like, Trevor like got me out this morning to have breakfast, and you know, knowing that like I would get excited about talking about the garden, and he knew I was worried about that hose, and he's like, don't worry, like first sign of spring, we'll get that fixed. And mom and I had a really good talk yesterday, and she was like, I'm gonna help you, like I'm gonna make sure, like, you know, you're not going too many days without like seeing people and getting out of the house. And so she made plan, like we're doing something tonight together, and we're at the stage of winter and everything, like grieving everything, where it's just like you have to be really intentional with, it's just so easy to just stay in and do nothing. And that is not good for me right now. It's not. So she said she's going to check in on me, and I'm checking in on her, and it's hard. It's really hard. It's different this year than other years for sure. And like I said, I just think it's related to Dad not being here. Like, it just seems very different than other years, but it's hitting me at the same time, you know? I think every year around February, March, I've come on and told you the same story. Like, I'm not doing good. So I love winter. I've really appreciated it, and I've really looked to the bright side of it. And I still do. I still think it's beautiful. I love being cozy in at home, but it can mess with what happens in your brain. Like, not a lot of sunlight, you know, a lot of days indoors. It's just bound to happen to some people, and I'm one of those people. And then adding on that whole other layer of dealing with a death is, like I said, it's the perfect storm. You're eventually going to get a little stuck, and that's where I find myself. I share this because it does feel very alone when you're dealing with low seasons, right? It feels very lonely, and I never want anyone to feel like they're alone, because I feel that way a lot too. But when I share, I realize that I'm not. Like, people always are like, no, like, I'm going through this too. Or it's just, I don't know. I'm just always the type of person who shares. Like, I never keep things to myself. Like, I love, like, even like when I'm happy, I want to share it with everyone. Or if I find like a favorite bag of chips, I'm like, I can't wait to tell the whole world. I'm like, everyone needs to know. And when I'm feeling sad, I'm like, everybody needs to know. Like, I just don't like keeping things to myself. I just don't. I've always been someone who likes to share. So, meeting my uncle at Montana's. Table for 5. Table for 5. Look who's with us. The teenagers. They're coming out. The real teenager. No coat.
Not too bad.
I know. I love you so much. I love you so much. Look at Mom. I'm getting the 7-ounce sirloin. Comes with this, but I'm gonna get mine with potatoes, baked beans, and I'm gonna add shrimp. Alex is getting the same thing. We're gonna get these guys this picture. Okay. Kids got their cotton candy drinks.
Something different. It's not the same for sure. People are complaining about the buffet and that too, right?
Supper was so good. You can't go wrong with Montana's. And here's a story for you. Montana's was my dad's favorite restaurant. Basically, it was the only restaurant he ever would go to because he loved it so much. And I mean, he would go to other restaurants like for birthdays and stuff, like whoever picked the restaurant, he would go. But if it was his choice, that's the restaurant my dad went to. It was his favorite. And ever since he's passed, every time we go to Montana's, I don't think I've told you guys this before, but if I have, forgive me. Every time we go to Montana's, the lights above our table, like all of the booths have like a little hanging light that comes down, you know? Every single time we go, the lights flicker. And it's happened to my sister before too, like I wasn't with her. She's with her family. Sorry. And so anyways, it's happened every time. And tonight it was no different. We were there with my uncle, my mom, and then me and the 2 kids. And I think it was right, we just got our drinks. And I was taking a picture of my mom and my uncle. And then right after that, the lights just but it was a big flicker. It wasn't like it was like, he made sure like all of us noticed the flicker. And my uncle went, jeez. And then my mom was like, and I was like, and then we were like, hi, Grampy. So Dad was at supper, I'm sure, because that was definitely him. It happens all the time. And it's never happened. And maybe it has happened before he's passed and we've just never noticed a light flicker, you know, but stuff like that I notice now, and I just like to think it's him saying hi or like making a smile from up above, you know? So that was nice. It was a really, really nice evening. But yeah, I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to be vlogging tomorrow, Sunday, fun day. Although there's going to be no Sunday dinner tomorrow because we're going to a birthday party. So we'll be eating at the party. So Mom's not hosting this Sunday, but that's okay. And it's also a long weekend here on the island. It is family day. So Monday's family day. So everyone has the day off. So it's a long weekend. There's no school. Trevor has no work. So I'm not sure what we're up to, but you know us, we'll probably be doing something family for family day. But anyways, I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you so much. And I know I'm going to be good. I'm just, like I said earlier, a little bit stuck, you know, like just finding things harder than they normally are. So I know myself well, and I'm going to get through it, and it will be good. I'll be good. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another video. Good night.
You are the love. I can't show you how to start to find your way. I like the old-fashioned way. Give me that sweet love, those warm open kisses. Oh, you are the love. Sing it. You are the love. I can show you how to start to find your way. I like the old-fashioned